Hi everyone, welcome to days 2 and 3 of Spellbinder's 12 Days of Stitchmas. What a treat it is to open up these little packages of crafty goodness each day. Today's stitching dies will not disappoint with this beautiful pair of candles and a classic Christmas ornament. We'll get started with day 2, the candles. There are quite a few dies with this set, so I lay everything out to begin. I center the stitching detail die for both the candles and the flame in the middle of the outline die and use some low tack tape to hold everything in place. After die cutting them from cream and gold cardstock, I use just the outline dies and cut them just from the cream cardstock. The outline die for the pair of candles and holly leaves is cut from the black metallic cardstock and the berries from purple glitter paper. I'll be using silver embroidery floss, which has been divided in half to stitch both the candles and the flames. To start the stitching, I use a little bit of tape to hold the thread in place. I've used low tack tape and I wouldn't recommend that, just regular Scotch tape works the best. The stitching detail for the candles is straightforward and easy, 5 long stitches. I like to keep my stitches as taut as possible. When I complete one stitch, I'll put my thumb over it so that thread cannot be pulled any tighter as I go on to the next one. This will prevent the die cut from buckling. When I'm finished the stitching, I use a little bit of tape on the back to hold the thread in place. Again, don't use low tack. It kept falling off on me and it was a pain. For the flame, I'll start stitching from the center hole and then do each line radiating out from the center. The scored lines on the stitching die cuts make it very easy to figure out how you need to stitch each element. These are quick and easy stitching projects, but as I mentioned in day 1, if you're not a fan of stitching, these look beautiful without that detail. For assembling, I'm going to apply Tombow glue to the back of all of the stitched elements. They are set aside to dry. When Tombow dries, it is clear. It is tacky and repositionable and a really good choice of adhesive for stitched elements. It is dotted on, making sure that I have good coverage over the entire die cut. I've borrowed the ornament hanger from the day 1 die set to use with the candles. It is sandwiched between 2 die cuts using the outline die for the pair of candles. The stitched elements are dry and adhere to the plain die cut. The stitches will be very secure and the 2 die cuts will lay very flat. There will be no bulk from the stitching when they're pressed together. Then I go back to my regular adhesive and adhere the candles to the outline die cut. And then the flames are popped in place. Before adhering the pair of holly leaves, I first tack the 2 together. They're adhered to the base of the candles on an angle. The reverse tweezers will hold everything in place until the glue dries. As I'm making a set of ornaments, I want to keep some elements the same, so I'm going back to the purple embroidery thread that I used in day 1 to make my ornament tie. Day 2 is completed with the 3 purple glitter berries placed where the 2 holly leaves meet. Such a pretty result. All right then, on to day 3. This is a beautiful ornament that is in a classic shape. The stitching die is centered in the outline die and some low tack tape holds it together as it goes through the die cutter to cut some black metallic cardstock. The outline die is used on its own to cut purple glitter paper. I'm going back to the purple embroidery thread, which has been divided in half, stitch the 4 full circles and 2 half ones on this ornament. I always begin at the center of the circle. Following the score lines on the die cut, the stitches will radiate out from this point. I begin my stitching and end my stitching by using a little bit of tape to hold everything in place. No low tack tape this time. Again, I turn to my Tombow glue and dot it well, getting good coverage on the back of the stitching die cut. It is set aside until the adhesive is clear. Then I know it is dry and ready to work with. And how long does it take? It really depends how thick those dots of glue are. But I would say roughly about 10 minutes. Okay, and this is me not really thinking clearly about what I'm doing. And I put on the ornament hanger borrowed from the day 1 die set. So I did a second outline die cut so I could sandwich the ornament hanger in between the two. And now that the Tombow adhesive is dry on the stitched element, I layer it onto the purple glitter one, and it looks so pretty. And yes, I finally figured it out and snipped off the ornament hanger. The ornament hanger included with this set was die cut 2 times from gold metallic cardstock and back together. It was then adhered to the top of the ornament. The centers of the stitch details were finished off with gold crystals. Ooh, look at that sparkle. And then onto the tree it goes to join the ornaments from day 1 and day 2. It is so much fun opening up these little treasures and creating with them. I hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to seeing you for day 4 and 5 with Spellbinder's 12 Days of Stitchmas.